There comes a moment in life when everything feels heavy, not because the world has changed, but because you're trying to hold all of it together. You plan for every possible outcome, replay old conversations in your mind, and prepare for storms that only exist in your thoughts. The more you try to control, the more life slips through your fingers. Your mind becomes a battlefield of what ifs, and instead of living, you're constantly bracing for impact. But what if peace doesn't come from fixing everything, but from softening your grip? Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop drowning in things you cannot control. It's choosing to breathe instead of tighten, to trust instead of chase. Life is not asking you to surrender your effort, only your fear. There is a quieter, gentler way to live, and it begins when you allow life to move with you, instead of against you. In this video, we'll explore 7 timeless Buddhist lessons that reveal how life begins to flow the moment you stop forcing it. These aren't just ideas, they are ways of living. Ways to let go without giving up. Ways to find calm without escaping life. If you've been tired of fighting, stay with me. This might be the reminder your heart has been waiting for. Lesson 1. When you stop controlling, life softens. We spend so much of our lives trying to control everything. People, outcomes, timing, even how others see us. Somewhere along the way, we start to believe that control equals safety. But in truth, it becomes a silent prison. You don't feel free, you just feel tired. Your mind stays on high alert, constantly predicting, fixing, protecting. And the more tightly you try to hold life in your hands, the more it slips through your fingers like water. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering doesn't come from life itself. It comes from our attachment to how we want life to be. Control is just another form of attachment. It says, things must go my way, or I cannot be at peace. But life has its own rhythm. The more we resist it, the more it resists us. When we allow life to flow, without forcing, without clinging, something begins to soften. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because we do. Letting go is not laziness. It's intelligent surrender. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you do your part with honesty, and then you trust the rest to unfold in its own time. It's like opening your hand after gripping too hard. Your breath slows, your heart eases, and life finally has space to move again. True strength is not found in control, but in trust. Trust that whatever comes, you will meet it with a calm and open heart. Lesson 2. The garden of the mind. You grow what you water. Your mind is like a garden, and every thought you think is a seed. Some seeds grow into flowers, peace, clarity, compassion. Others grow into thorns, fear, doubt, and constant what-ifs. The soil doesn't choose what to grow, it simply nurtures whatever is planted. In the same way, your mind does not judge your thoughts, it only feeds them. This is why the things you repeatedly think about become the reality you begin to live in. Fear and anxiety don't appear out of nowhere. We water them by replaying worst-case scenarios, by feeding the belief that something will go wrong, by checking again and again for what could fail. The more attention you give them, the deeper their roots grow. And soon, they take over the garden. But Buddhism teaches a gentle truth. You don't get rid of weeds by hating them or wishing they would disappear. You get rid of them by planting so many flowers that there's no room left for weeds to grow. In the same way, you don't defeat fear by fighting it. You replace it with presence, with breath, with reality. So when your mind begins to wander into dark corners, don't panic. Just return to your breath, to your body, to what is real right now. This moment is always kinder than the story in your mind. You are the gardener. You decide what to water. Plant peace, water hope, and slowly, the landscape of your mind will begin to change. Lesson 3. Anxiety lives in tomorrow. Peace lives in now. Anxiety is the mind's way of leaving the present and wandering into a future that hasn't arrived. It is mental time travel, creating stories, imagining problems, rehearsing pain that does not exist yet. The mind races ahead, building entire worlds out of what if, and without realizing it, we begin to suffer from a tomorrow that isn't even real. This is why anxiety feels endless, because we are fighting shadows, not reality. But in the present moment, nothing is wrong. Right here, right now, you are breathing, you are alive. The air is entering your lungs, the ground is still beneath your feet, and life is quietly holding you. The present moment is the only place where life truly happens. It's also the only place where fear cannot survive, because fear needs a future to exist. The present is too real, too simple, too alive for anxiety to stay. Mindfulness is the art of returning to your breath when your mind runs away, returning to the sensation of your hands, your footsteps, the sound of your surroundings. It is not about escaping life. It is about coming back to it. You do not have to force peace. You simply have to remove what covers it. Peace is not missing from your life. It is buried beneath noise, thought, and fear. When you pause, breathe, and return to now, the noise begins to fade. And like a quiet sunrise, peace reveals it was always there, waiting for you to notice. Lesson 4. Imagined pain hurts more than reality. So much of the pain we carry isn't from what actually happens, it's from what we think might happen. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The mind, left unchecked, becomes a storyteller that writes horror tales in advance. It creates scenes of failure, rejection, loss, embarrassment, long before they ever arrive, and often they never do. Yet our body reacts as if those fears are already real. Our heartbeat races, our breathing changes, our chest tightens, not because of reality, but because of a story. Think about how many nights you stayed awake worrying about a conversation that ended up going smoothly. How many times you expected the worst, only to find out everything was okay. This is how the mind tricks us. It convinces us that fear prepares us, when in reality, fear only exhausts us. Buddhist wisdom teaches a powerful question. Is this real, or is this just a thought? The moment you ask this, you interrupt the spiral of unnecessary suffering. You remind yourself that thoughts are not facts. They are clouds passing through the sky of the mind, not permanent, not solid. When you pause and bring awareness to the present moment, the imagined pain begins to dissolve. You realize that right now, you are safe. The anxiety you feel is not caused by the present moment, but by the future in your mind. And the future exists nowhere but in thought. Freedom begins when you stop arguing with imagination. When you no longer chase every fearful thought, no longer sit in court with your mind as the judge, the lawyer, and the enemy. You don't have to silence the mind. You only need to recognize this is just a story, not reality. Reality is often much kinder than the mind's predictions. The mind says, it will be a storm, but life often whispers, it might just be rain. So the next time fear arrives, breathe and ask gently, is this happening now, or only in my mind? If it's only a thought, bow to it, let it pass, and return to this moment. Because peace is not found by controlling tomorrow, but by meeting today with open eyes and a softer heart. Lesson 5. Trust is stronger than control. Control often looks like strength from the outside, planning every step, preparing for every outcome, holding all the pieces together. But when we look deeper, most control is not strength. It is fear wearing armor. It is the mind whispering, what if life doesn't take care of me? What if I don't hold everything together? What if it all falls apart the moment I stop trying? And so we tighten our grip on people, on timing, on expectations. We wake up tired, go to sleep thinking, and live in a constant state of silent tension. But here is what Buddhist wisdom gently reveals. Control doesn't create safety. It only creates exhaustion. The more we try to force life to follow our script, the more disconnected we become from its natural flow. Life is not a machine. It is a river. It cannot be pushed, only joined. Trust or faith is not about doing nothing. It is not laziness or blind hope. It is a sacred balance between action and surrender. It says, I will show up, I will do what I can, and then I will trust the rest to unfold in its own time. This is not weakness, it is spiritual maturity, because trust requires courage, control only requires fear. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. You give it water, sunlight, good earth. But can you make it grow faster by pulling on its leaves? Can you open the flower with your hands before it is ready? Number. To do so would only destroy it. You nurture it, but you don't command it. This is the essence of life. You are asked to participate, not dominate. Real strength isn't found in stiffness, but in softness. A rigid branch snaps during the storm, but the bamboo, flexible and humble, bends and survives. In the same way, those who trust are not careless. They are calm. They don't crumble when life changes direction, because their peace was never tied to controlling the outcome. It was tied to knowing they can handle whatever comes. So ask yourself gently, how much of your suffering comes from trying to force what is not ready? From begging life to move faster, people to understand sooner, things to go exactly as you imagined? What if you loosened your grip, not in defeat, but in faith? What if life is not against you, but simply waiting for you to stop fighting it? Let trust be your quiet rebellion against fear. Do what you can with love and honesty, and then step back. Breath by breath, allow life to unfold in ways you could not have planned, but maybe exactly what you needed. Because sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is finally let yourself trust. Lesson 6. Growth begins where you release the grip. Worry often disguises itself as responsibility. It convinces you that by constantly thinking, planning, and preparing, you're being careful, mature, even wise. But slowly, without noticing, worry begins to shrink your entire life. It shrinks your dreams because they feel too risky. It silences your voice because you fear being misunderstood. It cages your heart because loving someone fully feels too dangerous. This is what worry does. It doesn't protect you, it confines you. Buddhist wisdom teaches us a powerful truth. Nothing new can enter a mind that is tightly closed. When your hands are clenched, they can hold on to what they already have, but they cannot receive anything new. In the same way, when your mind clings to fear, plans, and control, it leaves no room for creativity, opportunity, or grace. You survive, but you do not grow. Letting go is not about being careless. It's about creating space. Space for clarity to return. Space for new ideas to breathe. Space for love to enter without fear. When you loosen your grip on how life must unfold, you make room for how it can unfold. Think of an artist holding a brush too tightly out of fear of making a mistake. The strokes become stiff, shaky, unnatural. But when their hand relaxes, the art begins to flow. Life works the same way. When you are busy controlling, life feels rigid. When you trust, life becomes creative. Worry also blocks your inner voice. You cannot hear intuition in a noisy mind. Ideas don't visit a heart that is clenched. Opportunities don't knock when your door is bolted with fear. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means stopping the inner war long enough for wisdom to speak. Imagine your life as a river. When you try to control everything, you build dams, mental, emotional, spiritual. The water becomes stagnant. But the moment you release even a little, the current begins to flow again, bringing fresh water, new direction, unseen blessings. This is why life often begins to help you the moment you stop interfering. People misunderstand letting go as giving up, but true letting go is deeply courageous. It says, I trust myself enough to release what is not mine to hold. You still take action, you still care, but you stop suffocating your dreams with fear. Ask yourself gently, How many opportunities have I missed because I was too afraid of failing? How many words have I swallowed because I feared judgment? How many times have I pretended to be small so I wouldn't be hurt? What if you let go, not of effort, but of fear, not of dreams, but of deadlines, not of love, but of the need to control how love is returned? Letting go is the doorway to growth. It invites courage back into your heart. It gives breath to your voice. It reminds you that life is not something to win or lose. It is something to experience fully, honestly, with open hands. So, unclench, breathe. Release the need to know how everything ends. Give life the chance to surprise you. Because growth never begins in the grip. It begins in the letting go. Lesson 7. Life flows when you step aside. Life has a natural rhythm, a gentle harmony that moves through everything. But when we interfere constantly, trying to shape every moment and predict every outcome, we block this natural flow. It's like standing in the middle of a clear stream and stacking rocks to control its direction. The water doesn't stop existing, but it loses its ease, its clarity. The more we try to control, the more resistance we create. And in that resistance, life begins to feel heavier, harder, and painfully out of sync. You don't have to push the river to make it move. It already knows where it's going. All you need to do is stop building dams made of fear, overthinking, and perfectionism. The Buddhist teaching of Wu Wei, effortless action, reminds us that not every situation needs force. Some things grow when left alone. Some answers come only when the mind is quiet. Some healing happens only when we stop picking at the wound. Non-interference is often misunderstood as apathy or laziness, but it is actually a form of wisdom. It means participating in life fully, but without choking it with control. It means doing your best and then stepping back with trust. It's the difference between holding a bird gently and holding it so tightly you crush its wings. Real participation is soft. It allows space for timing, for mystery, for life to do its part. When you stop forcing, life begins to respond differently. Clarity appears where confusion once lived. The right people cross your path effortlessly. Solutions arrive not from panic, but from stillness. This does not mean life becomes perfect or painless. It means life becomes cooperative. You are no longer fighting the current, you are moving with it. So here is the quiet practice. Do what you can, then step back and let life walk toward you. Say the words you need to say. Take the action that feels true, and then release the need to control how it's received. Trust that you are not alone in shaping your life. There is a greater intelligence moving with you. Ask yourself gently, where am I interfering too much? Where am I forcing instead of allowing? And what might happen if I gave life a little space to breathe? Sometimes, the greatest transformation doesn't come from pushing harder, but from stepping aside and allowing life to finally flow. Closing reflection. Open hands, open life. You don't need to have everything figured out. Life isn't asking you to carry every answer, every burden, every possible outcome on your shoulders. It's only asking you to be here, to breathe, to take the next small step, to trust that you are held even when you cannot see how. For so long, you may have believed that peace comes after everything is fixed. After every fear is silenced, every plan is perfect, every door opens exactly when you want it to. But that is not peace. That is exhaustion dressed as control. Real peace begins the moment you loosen your grip, the moment you whisper to yourself, I don't need to control everything to be okay. Life doesn't need you to push the river, only to walk beside it. Let one worry go. Just one. Release the thought that is tightening your chest. Exhale the fear that keeps you awake at night. And in that small space, where control finally softens, you will begin to notice something gentle. Life has always been trying to flow toward you. It was never against you. It was simply waiting for your hands to open. So breathe deeper. Trust a little more. Walk a little softer. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to begin again. If this message brought you even a moment of calm, consider sharing it with someone who is quietly fighting their own storm. Sometimes, peace is not taught. It is passed from one heart to another.